Secretary, Information Technology, Government of Bihar. Can we have a huge round of applause? Shri Amrit Meena, Principal Secretary, Rural Development and Panchayati Raj. Shri Vijendra Singh, Director, Information Technology, Government of Maharashtra.
He's on it.
He is on his way. He will join us shortly. Shri Sarkar, Trendmicro. Shri Anubhav Tyagi from Safenet. Shri Ravi Khattar is on his way. He will join us shortly. Shri Shailesh, Shrivastava, Technical Director, NIC Bihar. To start with the first session of the day, I would request Shri Sinha ji to start with the proceeding. I'm sorry, I just forgot to announce one more important name, Mr. Shri Sundar Rajan ji from SAS. Welcome, sir.
Good morning to all of you. And this session is on emerging technologies. When I visualize emerging technologies, I see it in two ways. Is it something which is happening in the world somewhere and we intend to imbibe, we intend to follow, adopt, adapt, do whatever. And the second is, are we the ones who, for the sake of connecting technology with people, create emerging technologies? It is easy to follow, difficult to lead. But then, why we are here is not only to follow, not only to spend money and buy something. It doesn't take us very far. But if that buying results in our innovations and we can have something better than whatever we have bought and then give it back to humanity, that is our idea. Otherwise, we would be followers, not leaders. Now, innovation is no bounds. If we have felt some need, it is we who will know how to approach the solution. We do not want to press fit a solution evolved somewhere else. So this is the approach that we intend to take, and in many cases we have been taking whenever we have faced challenges for public delivery. Every government wants to give more and more to its people. When we are having an overview of emerging technologies, it is something on those lines. So this is just to set the parameters right. And one of the things which has been mentioned for this session is big data analytics. Yes, it's an emerging field. Many big players are already into it. And we want to get into that field, learn from them, and create such wonderful solutions which will ensure that the e-government benefits are available to every citizen of the state, of the country and of the world. Many a times we have been telling in our visits abroad that the population is here. Most difficult and challenging requirements are here. If we develop some solutions based on all the inputs available across the globe, that solution will have much better applicability to other parts of world which may have faced this kind of problem. So it is with that in mind that we have started some work, and I am not even for a moment saying that this work can be completed by us alone. We have to partner with private sector, we have to partner with academic institutions, we have to partner with the requirements of other countries and then create some solution. The solution which will be best suited for the teeming billions, I should say. Keeping that in mind, and to come home to the big data analytics, networking, etc. For big data analytics, Cabinet has already sanctioned a massive project, and money of 20 crores is already approved. Why big data analytics and what are our gains? Number one, we have huge databases, but we have started maybe 3, 4, 5 years ago. So this is the time when we can focus on how to create the data structures, how to ensure that the granularity is right for the kind of applications that we may have in mind, how to ensure that the periodicity is right, how to ensure that we have the redundancy of data built in so that inaccurate data doesn't creep into our analysis. So this is right time for Bihar, when computerization is catching on at a feverish pace, that we design our data structures and we also design our processes. Since we are in the space of e-governments, the processes are very important. Coding is less important than that. Analytics always has the intelligence kind of solutions, but then what we intend to achieve has to be very, very clear. When we have tried to do something similar, we have faced those kinds of problems, and we would like to see that all government departments ensure that their processes are the best, they are re-engineered. We cannot live in an era where the processes were defined some 70, 80 or even 100 years ago. That vision was not available then. Today we have the vision, we know what all advancements in technology have taken place, and therefore we can encompass a much, much wider spectrum and try and attempt the solution. So I am sure there will be very positive movement. The nucleation has already been done by the state government. 20 crore funding is available as a first installment. We need to move properly, taking every stakeholder along. Similarly, yesterday I had said about networking. Maybe 5-6 years ago, when the statewide area network might have been conceptualized, 8 Mbps would have been considered a great bandwidth. Today, many of us at our homes find that 8 Mbps is no good even for our home. In US, people are commonly using 50 Mbps for their home. Now, can we even for a moment think that this huge population, this huge administrative workload, government to people interactions, all that can be accomplished with 8 Mbps between district headquarter and the state headquarter? No, because we have seen when it chokes. So, network has to be upgraded from time to time. We are in an era of disruptive technologies. So what was possible 6-7 years ago will definitely be done today, but much more could be achieved with much less money. When there was the question of integration of the universities network under National Mission on Education through ICT and the National Knowledge Network, since NME-ICT trying to connect all colleges and universities had envisaged 200 Mbps to each university and 10 Mbps to each college. NKN on the other hand had to connect all the nodes with 1 gigabit per second. And when we tried integration, without spending any more money that was sanctioned for NME-ICT, university and college network, without spending any more fund on that, we could achieve 5 times bandwidth, 5 times enhanced bandwidth and 4 times enhanced duration. So, in a span of about 2 years, the same money fetched us 20 times more returns. What was it? It was a simple transition from copper wire based connectivity to optical fiber based connectivity. And this is not an example from air. This we have done when I was in Ministry of HRD. So this is a living example. Now, initially everything is very costly if a new technology has come, but later on it settles. The capacity of an optical fiber to carry data is immense. We are talking in terms of gigabits per second, but up to even 40 terabits per second could perhaps be transmitted through the optical fiber. Of course, the end equipment will have to be designed that way. So when we are thinking of networks, we have to think of these solutions for the future. We don't have to be content with what we can connect today. And when yesterday I said, why can't we connect all our districts with 10 gigabits per second, I think the cost remains the same. Maybe if newer technologies come in the field of optical communication, and our routers and switches are made lambda enabled, so 10 gig will be the initial one. Maybe we go to 100 gigs or terabits per second. Perhaps the same would upgrade us, our speeds, from gigabit range to terabit range. For that, we have to plan today. We have to flag our requirements today for the industry to catch up, industry to take notice of it and then deliver. How did Akash come about? What is so innovative about Akash tablet? The innovation is not in creation of a tablet. And we grappled with the situation for maybe 5-6 years before we could succeed. The innovation was in the designing concept itself. And what was that designing concept? We started by saying this is for the people. So we do not approach the solution from the high end. We approach the solution from the other end, where whatever minimum is essential, that will be brought in. And what happened? Tablets are in abundance. But then tablets which can deliver good quality performance, if the price is 2000 rupees or less, volumes are huge. We did achieve that. The essence is that if we are able to identify our requirements and we are able to show to the industry that this has so much of potential and so much of market, the research starts veering towards the solutions needed, and that helps people, that also helps the innovators, and it is a win-win situation for all. Yes, in the short run maybe some people might lose, but when we are designing for future, we have to keep these things in mind. And this session will also focus on security aspects. Very important, because now the communications, if not properly secured, can lead to various unpleasant results. We all have become so much dependent on technology, and this technology, this IT, runs on so many switches, on-off kind of scenario. The binary data stream, which many people may not be able to know to what extent it is vulnerable. So it is for us, both the governments, the industry and the academia, to design such products or to have such software which can actually ensure and assure people that your transactions, your communications and your usage is safe. You can go ahead and do it. Otherwise, if that confidence is broken, our banking, our research, all that activity will come to a grinding halt. The immense enhancement in research collaboration has happened because of internet. But then if people know that one's research work or thesis may be siphoned off without any permission, that collaborative regime will break down. So we have to create some kind of structures. Maybe we can start it here, where forward-looking view is taken, and both for newer applications, for newer devices, highly cost-effective communication, and safe applications, safe communication, all that emerges from our requirements. And if we are able to do that, which I am sure we will be, there will be no stopping us. And I can also say that the kind of vision that we have got from our Honorable Chief Minister and the support that we are getting, perhaps all that could be accomplished here in Bihar in maybe 1 year time, and we can show the world where we are. So I only urge upon everyone present here and all the people from academia, industry and government to put their brains together and create such solutions, or at least create such pathways on which we can have this kind of continuous momentum towards innovating and getting newer and newer technologies. Thank you.
Rightly said, sir. Innovation is in identifying the needs of the society and addressing it by keeping the cost in mind. With this, I would now like to call upon Shri Amrit Meena, Principal Secretary, Rural Development and Panchayati Raj, to address the audience.
Good morning to all of you. Respected Shri N.K. Sinha, Principal Secretary IT. Eminent panelists, friends, basically deals with the rural areas of the state. As you all know, Bihar is about 9% of the Indian population, with 10.38 crore population as per 2011 census, growing at a pace of about 2.2% per annum. We have 1.7 crore rural households and about 20 lakh urban households. As per the latest socio-economic and caste census, which has recently been concluded, which of course is based on the census 2011, we have about 1.8 crore rural households. The SECC provides for a database of all the rural and urban households and also individuals. Their entire socio-economic and caste breakup has been captured, digitized, and now available for various government programs. The first program which is using this SECC data is the National Food Security Act. The identification and filtration of the families eligible to be covered under the Food Security Act is from the SECC database. This database, I think, is one of the largest database which provides for socio-economic related information about each and every citizen of the state, and we in rural development are extensively using it for various other applications. Today, in various programs, the monitoring is very, very important, and use of IT solutions in monitoring all the programs is the thrust area both from the central government and also for us in the state government. I would like to touch upon some of the important initiatives which are being implemented in the department, the solutions available at the moment, and what is the further way forward for us to improve the situation further. So, the current projects which the rural development is implementing is eShakti. As some of you may be knowing, E-Shakti was the initiative of the state government in 2009, wherein it was envisaged that each and every citizen would be provided a E-Shakti card based on his biometric identity. This project was initiated in Patna district. Initially 5 blocks were taken up. About 14 lakh cards have been distributed. This data is being used for management of Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, wherein the attendance of the workers is marked in the handheld device based on this biometric authenticated data, and then their payment is made through the banking correspondents at their doorstep. This is a complete paperless solution for the entire MGNREGA, the largest employment program in the world. After the 5 blocks, this has been upscaled to cover the entire Patna district, and now in further 2 phases, we intend to cover the entire state. As you all know, the attendance and the work measurement is undertaken at the field level, and biometric attendance is taken, E-Shakti server processes, and then the payment is made at the doorstep of the beneficiary. This E-Shakti system has all features for ensuring deduplication, biometric attendance, on-site transaction, and various processes relating to the MGNREGA. This is available on the website of the department. In the second and third phase, wherein we intend to go for upscaling the E-Shakti to cover the entire rural areas, there is a huge scope for the solution providers. Department is very shortly likely to come out with the RFP for upscaling this E-Shakti project. Other application which we are using is the NREGA soft. This is developed by the NIC, wherein the entire management of MGNREGA is managed in this software. This software takes care of all the implementing agencies, all the projects, all the beneficiaries who are working, and it provides real-time information. This is the workflow. Those of you who are interested in pursuing it further, I think we would be sharing this presentation, can be accessed, and further discussions if required, we can have in due course of time. I don't want to go extensively on it in view of the paucity of time. In Narega Soft, various programs of the government like Rashtriya Swasthya Bima Yojana, UID, BPL census, banks, E-Lekha, all are integrated. These are the key features wherein muster rolls are electronically generated. If somebody demands for the work, he applies to the Panchayat, and then the muster rolls are electronically generated. The attendance are marked at the work site at the moment. These attendances are entered into the system, and then system generates the advices. Payments move from the bank account to the account of the beneficiary, either in the post offices or in the banks. There is a system to check the deduplication also. Another effort which we have put into is this centralized plan scheme monitoring system, wherein this entire NREGA funds, about 2,000 crore per annum, is routed from the state fund to the Gram Panchayats. There are 8,400 Gram Panchayats who pool resources from the centralized state fund of NREGA by using this CPSMS based solution. There are certain norms. If a Panchayat acquires the eligibility to pool, they can automatically pool. In this process, all the intermediate accounts at the district and the block levels have been abolished. Therefore, undue parking of fund has been checked completely. Now it's the real-time pool depending on the requirement. We intend to carry it forward further up to the beneficiary account. At the moment, this solution is from the state fund to the Panchayat account, but in next phase, we are planning to go up to the beneficiary account. That if a beneficiary is entitled to receive some basis, the transaction should be from the state fund. Like Narega Soft, we have a massive program of the rural housing called Indra Awas Yojana, wherein on an average every year about 6 lakh houses are constructed in the state. The data for these 6 lakh families is required to be captured, deduplication is required to be checked, their fund has to be flown depending on the progress after ascertaining the progress through the photography. So we have a strong system of Awas Soft. So far we had thin manpower, but in 2013 government has approved a major manpower support for monitoring of the Indra Awas Yojana, and now we have deployed about 10,000 people at the rate of 1 person per panchayat to capture the details of each and every household at least 4 times a year. So the flow of data would be very fast. We are giving them Android-based phones with which they will enter the progress and also the photograph. This is also a large-scale opportunity for the IT solution provider companies. On iaby.nic.in, the details can be seen and tracked. We have started on a pilot basis this mobile inspection system of NREGA works. As NREGA is very large program, there are about 5 lakh ongoing works at any point of time, all across the state. So to ensure the quality of implementation, we have started a mobile inspection system in Munger and Gaya district. There is a huge scope of its upscaling. The features are in this presentation, which you may. Then Jivika, as you must have heard of yesterday during some presentation, the rural women are being organized into the self-help groups, federated into the village organizations and the cluster level federations. So digital literacy to these women and particularly the leaders of these groups is an area on which under the advisory of Department of IT we have been working. So there are many other applications in Jivika, particularly management of the skill training. We intend to provide skill training to about 15 lakh people in the next 4-5 years. So the entire data management with a view to check deduplication and also to track their placement for a period of 5 years. We have a robust solution and we further propose to upscale it so as to tune it with the need of the hour. Then there are 8,400 Gram Panchayat and 534 blocks. So Department of Panchayati Raj is pursuing Panchayat Enterprise Suite, which has 10 applications to be rolled out. We have rolled out 5 of them and remaining 5 are in the process of being rolled out. So here, apart from the software, a huge hardware requirement is proposed, wherein there would be IT center at every Gram Panchayat level, there are 8,400, and also IT center at the block level. These are being planned and are proposed to be rolled out in year 14-15 or at the most by 15-16. These are the PES applications. Plan Plus deals with monitoring of all the individual projects. PriyaSoft is an accounting software. 8,000 Gram Panchayats handling about 1 crore per GB. So 8,000 crore per annum is being handled by the Gram Panchayats. So PriyaSoft is an accounting software which has been rolled out and is to be upskilled. ActionSoft, Panchayat Portal, Local Government Directory, Panchayat Profiler, Service Plus, Asset Directory, Social Audit, Training, Grievance and GIS. So as I mentioned, we propose to set up IT center at block level under RTT. We have 34 blocks. There is a proposal to categorize them into large size block and small size block, and this proposal is very shortly likely to be rolled out. These are the details of the cost involved, which individual, if interested, may discuss with us further. So, towards the end, I would like to highlight that there is a huge potential of expanding the infrastructure in the state. Government has provided adequate fund for establishing the IT centers at Panchayat level and also at the block level. And there is a full thrust to ensure the latest technological applications so as to bring in quality in monitoring and therefore to see that the programs deliver according to wishes of the people. Thank you very much.
Shri Amrit Lalji has not only talked about some of these projects like eShakti, Narega Soft, CPSMS, Awas Soft, Mobile Inspection System, Jivika, Panchayat, Enterprise Suits, but he also gave us a glimpse of what exactly will be the scenario in Bihar in probably next few years and what will be the way forward to all of us. And with this, I would now like to call upon Shri Vijendra Singh, Director Information Technology, Government of Maharashtra. Can we have a huge round of applause, sir?
A very good morning to the esteemed panelists and ladies and gentlemen. Just a word about what Maharashtra has been doing in the field of information technology. Thereafter, I shall try and give some food for thought as far as security, big data analysis, and other items of today's discussion are concerned. Maharashtra per se has been one of the leading states when we talk about information technology initiatives. I will just cover a few of them which may be of use to the audience as well as to the government. We have majorly concentrated on building core infrastructure, resorting to some policy interventions, and we have given a big thrust on capacity building. Our e-governance initiatives, they majorly cover G2G, G2E, G2B and G2C projects. Whenever we are implementing any kind of e-governance project, gentlemen, the most important thing that is required is that we should carry out a detailed BPR or GPR. That is process re-engineering. We are all aware that if you have the garbage as input, garbage shall come out. E-governance is not only carrying out BPR, but also ensuring that we are not only resorting to digitization of physical paper into electronic form. We have to simplify the processes, and we also have to take care that there are certain things that need to be eliminated. Today, we are paying much attention on e-transactions. E-TAL is one of the initiatives of Government of India wherein we are measuring that how many e-transactions every state is doing as a measure of e-governance initiatives undertaken by that particular state. But if we ask ourselves, are these e-transactions really required? As per one small in-house study done, it was noticed that about 80% of the record of rights for various reasons are being asked by government and are being supplied by the government. Do we really need it? Is what we have to ask ourselves. Affidavits. Gentlemen, affidavits were as a source of revenue for the British government. Of course, they were asking because they did not trust Indians. But please go, get a certificate from a gazetted officer that what you are telling is the truth. It's high time that we do away with them and we trust our own citizens. Taking a lead into this, Government of Maharashtra since last year has done away with all kinds of affidavits required for certificates. And the preamble to the geo says that it's high time that we start trusting our citizens. Well, this could be emulated if required. We have created robust core infrastructure of IT. We have also declared what is our critical infrastructure so that our security policies are well in place. We have a state-of-art data center, probably the only government data center which is cloud enabled. We have also gone on to further concepts of hybrid cloud as well as cloud burst. Our data center is end-to-end IPv6 compliant and it is operating from an environment which is absolutely secure. SWAN has been covered, so I won't touch upon that. But what we today have to look after is that if we say that 65 to 70% of the Indian population resides in the villages and it's the rural infrastructure that is critical, then our connectivity has to first reach the villages. And how much of it has been done is a question which is open to all. Rather than relying on a single kind of network which reaches the masses, we have to ensure that there is a basket of networks like the basket of currencies at the international level. We have a state data portal which is a repository of knowledge of all the initiatives taken by the state. CSCs, Maha Seva Kendras, we have about 35,000 CSCs, that is Citizen Service Centers, which we have put in place. We have put certain policy interventions as enablers. One of the critical things is that today, all our departments they have people who can guide the departments for the IT initiatives or not. It's impossible for us to give consultants to each department, to each office, to each sub-office. So we have come out with a concept of virtual IT cadre in Maharashtra, wherein the people who are IT savvy in the department, they are trained on various aspects. They are selected through a stringent procedure of having objective, subjective and interview as the examination, and thereafter these people are given quite a bit of exposure to the IT and they lead the department IT initiatives. As a matter of incentive, we give them 10% extra salary for their interventions that they are doing in the department. Well, other things they include that to have the procurement procedures, etc. fast track, we have cabinet subcommittees, we have high power committees and the department level purchase committees and PICs which take decisions at a very fast pace depending on their financial powers, which range from 5 crore for the PICs and above 5 crores unlimited powers are with the SPC headed by Honorable Chief Secretary. We also have entered into a joint venture partnership with TCS and we have created Maha Online, which today houses more than about 250 programmers who are busy innovating as well as creating softwares for us. Capacity buildings, we have not only concentrated on the government departments but also the vendors, consultants, citizens and the state government officials at large scale. We have carried on with extensive workshops for our flagship initiatives. We have created various centers of excellence including the local languages as well as other areas. Without taking much time on what we have done about our e-governance initiatives, let me tell you that Maharashtra is the only state which has undertaken the concept of paperless offices on the largest scale. Today we have about 10,000 employees who are actually operating e-files with digital tokens and they are signing files digitally and they are being moved. Sindhudurg is one of the districts in Maharashtra which is complete end-to-end paperless starting from Patwari to the district collector level and there is not a single paper which moves. Gentlemen, it is an island of excellence that I would request if any one of you wants, they can visit it. With this, I will just put some perspective on the security part, that how secure are we? Are we really bothered about our cyber security? Are we actually looking in depth into cyber defense, cyber forensics, cyber investigations, so on and so forth? With the increasing use of technology, with the kind of data that is today available and the ever increasing demand, of use of technology, we have to ensure that we are secure. But today, I am going to throw open a few questions as well as I'll give you some food for thought that how secure are we in this dense data environment. Maybe it will not be in the order of precedence or order of importance, but shall we have a look at the increasing net banking and ATM frauds which are on the rise? Are we secure enough as far as our proneness to the financial crimes are concerned? Our ATM frauds are on the increase. When we approach the investigating agencies, you would know for better that we are actually going round in circles achieving nothing. Are we actually clueful enough how to deal with these challenges is what we have to think. ATM security, many a times challenges have been thrown. How secure our ATM networks are. We say that install CCTV cameras, but do we have the wherewithal to analyze the data? There is absolutely no semblance of any data analysis that can be done, whether you are entering an ATM with a helmet or your face covered with some clothes. Are we analyzing it? Do we have some differential patterns that can be worked out and an alarm be generated? Sadly, it is not there. When we talk about big data analytics, data does not only involve citizen data, it involves geospatial data also, it includes satellite data also, it includes all kind of banking, mobile, ATM data also. So we have to think on these lines that are we actually doing data analysis that can be fruitful and it can give fruits to the citizens of the real IT interventions. Bankers and cybersecurity, a huge question. Today also, it will be commonplace that our banking data do not have any kind of third-party audits being carried out about the security systems that have been put in place as far as banking securities are concerned. Our security guidelines are pretty hazy, and the bankers who are there in the audience would agree to it. We rarely undertake any kind of non-disclosure agreements with the National Payment Corporation of India or the banks. We can go on and on, but as I said that I will just throw open few questions to the audience as well as the esteemed panelists that how secure are we? Getting a duplicate SIM card, how difficult is it? You can actually go to a vendor, say that I have lost my SIM card, give forged documents, and you can obtain a duplicate SIM card, and you can throw open somebody's absolutely critical data to anybody's uses. Do we have enough control over our cyber cafes? Do we have enough control over our networks which are open? Has anybody ever thought of checking the server logs of telecommunication companies for phone tapping? Are you absolutely safe as far as data is concerned when you say that you are conversing with somebody and that is not being tapped? Has anybody bothered to check it? Sadly enough, no. Yes, we do believe you, but then we have to have systems in places about the phone tapping, about the CDRs and checking the server logs of these telecommunication companies so that somebody is watching over us is drilled well and proper. Our password policies, absolutely weak. Passwords are being, many of the cases which have come forth, we are using text-based data to store our passwords. There is absolutely no encryption, hashing or sorting being done. Majority of our offices, when we say capacity building, today, ask an honest question to yourself. How many times have you shared your password of critical data with your subordinates who are not supposed to know it? How many times have you shared the password of your mail IDs with your subordinates? It is sad that at times we have come across cases in various areas where people have even shared not only the passwords but the PIN, which is supposed to be the second or third level of security with their subordinates. Digital signatures, in our case, are they safe enough? That is what we have to ask ourselves. Critical internet infrastructure. Where is it operating from? Who is operating it? Who has the data access? It's high time. The .in domain, where is it being run? Where is the data warehouse is open to questions. Why I am raising these questions, gentlemen, that today India perhaps has the largest force as far as IT is concerned. We are assisting countries across the globe in developing systems that are secure, but are we actually doing it in our own country? Today we are increasing our infrastructure in various aspects as far as IT is concerned. We are buying a lot of equipment. We are also putting in place our data centers. We are also putting in place the concepts like cloud and all. But how and what kind of encouragement is being given to IT in various states is a question to be asked. In various discussions, it has come to fore and to our knowledge that our data centers, often the private data centers, they die their own deaths because of small reasons like heavy electricity tariff. It is very difficult to operate data centers today, and people who are in it, they know it well enough. So if we have to ensure that we have good data centers which are within the geographical boundaries and our data can be actually kept within the geographical boundaries of India, then we have to come out with certain incentive policies that can actually allow these private players in collaboration with government to come up with safe data centers. Now, as far as using technology, available open source technology is concerned, it is surprising that we use Google Maps for a lot of our activities, even police investigations. How safe is it to use it? Has anybody given a thought to it? Training. At times, we say that our people are cyber trained. NASCOM and DSCI are giving training to our policemen. But how effective the training is? Or are we just creating a force which is not very well trained yet certified trained, is what we have to look into. So there are many questions that we have to ask ourselves. The quality, the quantity, the numbers of our cyber forensic labs. Are they equipped enough to analyze any kind of cyber fraud? There are a whole lot of other questions that can be raised on this subject. But today, as industry, as government, as the stakeholders, we have to join hands to ensure that our security policies are well in place. Because today we are a huge developing IT destination in the world. And if we do not pay attention to this, things can be pretty difficult, gentlemen. Yes, data analysis and networking and all other speakers have covered. These are important. If we analyze our data, you would be surprised to know that one of the weakest database we have is the BPL database. Our databases do not communicate with each other. They do not talk to each other. Have we ever thought to compare or make our BPL database talk with our electricity consumers, billing and all? If you do, it will be surprising that it will give you a big joy. Many people who are using good amount of electricity can be actually measured as a standard of living. We are not doing it. It's high time that when we are doing the data analysis, our databases should talk to each other. We have to clean up our databases, we have to make them usable databases, and we have to ensure that they talk to each other. Then only we will have the benefits really flowing in to the people who really deserve it. So in fact, when we are talking about cyber security, big data analytics, networking, etc., we have to ask ourselves very, very critical questions. And it is high time that we are honest with ourselves. Even the purchase of infrastructure, computer-related peripherals and all, you would be surprised that many a times the refurbished switches, routers are being put in by many of the vendors. I'm not blaming anyone, but do we have a system in place to check it? do we really have a system to check it that whatever kind of warranty or guarantee has been given to a particular kind of infrastructure, it really exists? Have we checked with OEM regarding the things which are being installed? Gentlemen, questions are huge. But I would request the industry as well as other people who are real stakeholders in the benefits that flow out of IT to understand this, to talk very honestly and plug these gaps, and then we can say that we will be secure in the times to come. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to talk to you. Thank you very much.
Rightly said, sir. Electronic digitization of data is not enough. We also need to simplify our processes. Maharashtra has truly been one of the front runners in terms of innovative technology. Sir also raised few questions on ATM security, banking security, and cyber security, and many others, which I hope will be addressed by some of our esteemed panelists. I would now like to invite Shri Sarkar from Trendmicro to address the audience.
Panelists, and sir, you have raised a lot of important questions regarding security. It is really very important, and all the speakers have talked about what is security is all about, the e-governance. Let me share before that, it is the subject here is more on emerging technologies and then security and the e-governance. Let us understand in which world we are living today. Now, this is 2.4 billion internet users today. This is actually the 1/3 of human population on the internet. Another is Google actually index 1 trillion plus websites every day. Another important part is how many of you are the user of Facebook? Just how many of you are? Almost everybody, right? Here is the data points, right? 665 million websites are there and 1 billion Facebook users, and this is the data of 2013. Probably in the meantime, it has changed. Today I got another information from NDTV that WhatsApp is acquired by Facebook today. It is a $16 billion deal. Now, how many of you actually use Facebook from your mobile phone? Here is the data. 54% of the users use their Facebook from mobile devices. Smartphone, everybody is using, right? And here is, in 2012, 427 million smartphones sold. In 2012. Now, we are living in this world today. This is the technology. We used to go to the organizations, industries that to get the new device. The other part of this, see, the adoption rate of the advanced devices. We used to go to the enterprises to get a big computing infrastructure, right? And today, see, within 2 years, iPad sold 66.1 million iPods sold in 2 years once it's launched. The adoption rate is incredible of these technologies. Another important part is, think about that, 5 years back, we used to actually manage 2 operating systems. Windows predominantly, and some part of this world is used to Mac. Now, what is the situation today? If you see this kind of operating system we use, now adoption rate in technologies and softwares, operating systems, complexity is huge, right? It is growing very fast. Another important part for the organizations, we always try to do it, how much time, how fast we can reach to 1 million users. Probably Facebook started this one. AOL, it took 9 years to reach 1 million users. After that, Facebook took 9 months to reach 1 million users. And interesting part is, they draw something, most of us don't even know the name. It took 9 years to reach 1 million users. Another part I have to highlight on this. Even Facebook, somebody sends you a request, you have to accept it. What happens to WhatsApp? Even if I know you are in my contacts, I know you are in WhatsApp, I can send a photograph to you. There is no control. Right? This is the world we are living. Some other data points. Start talking about the big data analytics. 2.5 quintillion bytes of data getting created every day. This is a source from IBM. Right? And another part is 90% of this data created in the last 2 years. So we are living in this world. And as you rightly said, sir, information is a very critical asset for any organization, be it enterprise, be it government, and we are dealing with it day in, day out. What happens? The other side of this coin is every 1 second there is a new unique malware getting released. Have you heard any cyber threats in the last 5 years? There's a big time outbreak? No. Last 5 years there's no outbreak happened globally. We used to hear the new names, Nimda, Code Red, FunLab, lot of attacks, right? The whole world is red, then it is coming up, this attacks happened in the newspaper. Nowadays, you will not find this kind of virus outbreak. The other side is this, the commercial exploit kits are available. You don't need to be a very big technocrat to write a virus today. You spend $20 and buy a tool which can help you to write a malware. That's why it is so easy to exploit somebody. Now, this is the reality. Everybody in the world, they are using all layered security approaches. So you have rightly said that how secure we are. Answer, I also don't even know. 90% of the organization I'm talking about, they are not using security, they are using all the best of the breed security. Still, they have got active malware in their infrastructure. 55% of that infrastructure don't even know, enterprises, they don't even know they are under attack. There is a change in this last 5 years, that what kind of attacks are happening. I'm going to highlight on that point, that what kind of attacks we are living today. Let's see the last 10 to 12 years, the threat landscape, how it has evolved. In 2001, it was worm, outbreak, viruses talked about. And we are living in the age of this one, in this mobile attacks. How many of you, most of us are using Android phones and smartphones, right? How many of you are using anti-malware and any security solutions on your mobile devices? None of us, right? Percentage is very, very less. That's the actually ground these guys are launching an attack. And every time you go in office and probably in this hotel, you have got Wi-Fi connectivity. You just enable your Wi-Fi and get connected to the internet. Same thing happens to your organization. Now why the cyber criminals should come through different ways and means that they should come to a penetration to the perimeters. They will come from your endpoint, and which is probably the mobile phone. That's why these mobile attacks are increasing like anything. People are using some exploit toolkits which can be installed on mobile phones and come to an organization and report to your data center. It is so easy today. Now, one question here. I have also two questions here. One is, how do modern attacks have in common? All the modern attacks, something is common there. Can you answer? Can anybody answer that? What is common in today's attacks? This is the money. It is not about showing their ego at all. It is an industry. The industry is $30 billion industry. Right? They want to make money. Why the outbreak is not happening? Why this machine is not getting crashed? How many times you have seen your machine is getting crashed for a virus attack? You have not seen now. But what they want, they are not interested that your machine should go down. They are interested that you should be up and running and access internet, and they can make money out of it. How do they make money out of it? They can make money out of it. Probably you are doing mobile banking, you are doing net banking. Let me share one thing. 20th March 2013, actually the war anniversary of South Korea. You know, sir, you were mentioning about ATM security. The whole infrastructure of the country on 20th of March was down. None of the ATM machine was not working, office infrastructure was down, and even electronic media, the news channels were down. It was an attack probably from one state to another state. I don't know who has done it, but objective was not actually to destroy the infrastructure, to show that, see, your country, your government cannot secure you. That's why the government infrastructure, security from the endpoint to the data center is very, very important. Another important part is, now these cyber criminals, actually, they are trying to make money out of it, right? But they need an infrastructure to launch an attack. This is based on IT. Whose infrastructure they are going to use? They are using customers' infrastructure. Why? We are mentioning that Internet Expressway, a lot of universities, they have got 200 Mbps of line. And if you don't have the proper security in place, that can be used as launch pad of an attack to somebody else. And it is happening here. And if you go and talk about, we work very closely with the government of India and Sardine and all, we know a lot of organizations, they have got infrastructure. There's a very good internet infrastructure, but they don't have the proper security in place, and it is getting used by some cyber criminals to launch an attack to somebody else. At the end of the day, we are answerable for that. If we launch an attack to some other country, the question will come to us. Now, challenges. What are the challenges with this? The challenges with the current security controls, that the age, the era we are living today, the normal standard security controls is important, but not enough today. We need to think in a different way. It has changed. Even if you have got firewall on ideas, it is ineffective. If your mobile device endpoint is compromised and you are bypassing your perimeter, it is important, it has to be there, right? Organizations, the employees, people talked about, speakers talked about the process. Employees are the weakest link. If we don't give the right knowledge to the employees and people are using the infrastructure, that's very, very important, can be exploited. Let's understand in today's scenario. Have you heard about this APT? It is called Advanced Persistent Threat. And we are living in the age of, somebody talks about APT, somebody talks about Advanced Targeted Attacks. This is the age of cyber threats. Now, if we understand that how actually cyber threat happens, then we can actually strategize our security solutions in the infrastructure. Now, all of us probably in Facebook, LinkedIn, or any other social media. Now, somebody wants to launch an attack to somebody. It is not a specific, it is not a generic attack. It is a specific attack to somebody else. Probably to some specific organization, one government to another government, and one nation state to another nation state. Have you heard about Stuxnet attack? This is an APT. Have you heard about this RSA attack? Organizations, security organizations like RSA was compromised, right? These are in the news. Sony PlayStation Network, I am taking the names, all are in the newspaper. The Stuxnet is an attack launched to Israel, Iranian nuclear project by Israel, and it is published in the New York Times. These are a lot of things. Flame is another attack. These are the age we are living. It is not about normal cyber threats we are talking about. We are living in the age of advanced persistent threats. Government of India, other state governments, even sir, with your government in Maharashtra, we are also working very closely with Rajesh Agrawal sir, and we are providing security for you. And a lot of states we are working there, and people are thinking about that. Basically, BFSI, banking infrastructure, they are behind this. They are implementing this solution against this. They have got a right strategy. Now, how it is different from the genetic cyber threats and malwares, right? It is customized, specifically designed for specific person or specific organization. They do social engineering to identify which is the weakest link. Then they come to the point of entry. They find out one weakest link in the organization that they compromise. It may be a mobile device, it may be a laptop, it can be a desktop. And then they create a command and control in this organization. That means the hacker, which is sitting there, he is sitting here taking control of the organization. Now, the difference is, the changes happen to this. It is not an outside-in attack. The cyber criminal is not coming from outside the world bypassing your perimeter security. He is coming from the endpoint. That means you are enticed to go to the site and they are connecting a communication. Now, it is inside-out attack now. And they do actually, they are very slow, they are very very, very silently they actually kill people. And they, at the end of the day, their interest is something. They reach to data center, they exploited data to the cyber criminals. And what has happened, I'll share a video once I finish my presentation. It will give you this live, how the attacks, advanced perception attack happens today. This is the life cycle of the new attack. Now, what should be the strategy, right? Strategy is, since these attacks are custom for a specific organization, you don't even know that what is happening. You may be the first victim for this. Now, if it is a customized attack, you need a custom defense strategy for that. For any organization, be it government, be it any enterprise. The threats are same everywhere, right? What should the strategy and defense life cycle for your organization? You should have something, network-wide visibility. Sir was mentioning that visibility is the only answer. You cannot put controls that actually the tablets is used by the villagers in remote places. You cannot put controls, you do this, don't do this. But unless and until the challenge is, if you know that this machine is compromised, you can inform them this endpoint in the network is compromised and it has got some malware or something else, you can take steps. That's why you need to have a network-wide visibility. Another is that sometimes these threats are actually zero-day vulnerabilities. It is not known to anybody, even the security providers like us. You need to have the technologies in place on-premise that it gives you, that protects you from the zero-day vulnerabilities. Another important part is you need to know you have to have a global threat intelligence. Global threat intelligence means what kind of threats are happening in the other part of the world. If we don't know dynamically, then it will be very difficult for us to strategize and protect my infrastructure. Another important part is response. If you know there is a threat happening, what should the response mechanism? I was going to attending another event a couple of days back in Hyderabad, and somebody, one of the speakers has to join this panel, and he was late. And asked him why you were late. You know, my link was down, that's why I got late. Then I asked him the same simple question. You don't have the redundant link. Well, yes, I have got the redundant link, but if the primary link goes down, then I realize the secondary link is not working. This is a BCP planning, right? That's why we need to do from the security also, unless and until incident happens, unfortunate part of is we put the scanners in the hotels. For that we need to wait for a 2611. That means unless and until the attack happens in Mumbai, we don't put scanner. But we wait that the incident happens, then only take measures. That we have to change the mindset. We have to learn from others, and we learn from the other states or the countries. You know, in China, in Korea, they have got standard the regulation. Any organization in that country, if they are spreading some spams, if they are encouraging bots, then they will be penalized. That's why you have to secure your infrastructure first, right? How the visibility works? Let's say this is your infrastructure, you have got all the perimeter security in place. What you need to do, you are transferring your information, it may be your G2C applications, it may be your mail, your communication is happening. What you need to do, and a government agency, you need to have visibility what is passing through my network. Whether it is malicious or whether this contents are set. Now you have to identify three things. Is a malicious content, or is this communication is suspicious communication is happening, or you need to understand the attack behavior. Whether it's a generic attack, is a specific attack. Now it has to give these things. That means since being an organization and we cannot have the control of every citizen, people don't like blocking, right? People, if you talk about, okay, you are blocked for this, nobody will accept it. It is better way to bring this filter in and they get the visibility and enable them. This is a problem we need to resolve. And I will just share one thing that for the reality today, and you will love to hear this one. You just watch this video, and what I have told probably will give you an idea of what kind of actual. Get me the sound, please.
There is a battle raging, one that many don't even realize exists. A fight in which anyone can be the victim and anyone can be the aggressor. It can be motivated by politics, by ideals, or simply by financial gain. Just recently a large company was targeted, and due to one of these attacks, ended up more than $60 million worse off. Targeted attacks are a reality. What you're about to see is based on the real story of one such attack.
They don't even go there. Go where? Everyone knows hand shot first. Hand shot second. What are you talking about? You not seen the image of 1977? First.
Second. Hey, get over here.
Got a job. So this is what we're going to do. First of all, we need to research the target. Find out what you can about their finances and social interactions. Make a list of departments and staff and get them on the wall. I want to know what these people are like. What are their online habits? Do they talk about their employer online? Also get me their perimeter security and internet-facing systems. We really need to know what we're dealing with here.
The criminals have examined the target's defenses and know what they're up against. Now they're packing and encoding different malware samples to make sure they remain undetected by standard security software. Sean is using anonymizing software to connect to underground forums. These are used to offer attack toolkits, intelligence, or even just for criminals to offer each other advice.
So what do we have, Ralph?
Well, we have our tools set up. The ones that didn't get picked up by any of the security scanners we set up.
And for access, we set up a booby trap website that will install the tool on the computer as soon as the user gets there. The link was sent to all the email addresses that we found on the social profiles of the employees. Now we just gotta wait for them to take the bait.
Fortunately, the security software recognized the URL the criminals were using to host their exploit kit, and the email was automatically deleted.
That was 2 days ago. Has anyone taken the tool yet?
No.
Then we need something else.
Maybe the old-fashioned way. The old free flash drive trick.
Hi, I found this in front of the main entrance. Could you check it out, please?
Yeah, it's good you got it here. Thanks.
What are the employees talking about now?
Well, a lot of people are talking about the company lowering pay.
And there you go.
This is it. The criminals have broken through the defenses, combining a zero-day exploit with some social engineering to get the victim to open their malicious file. This computer is now under their control, and they can use this user account to begin exploring the network undetected. The hackers look for any information they can use to exploit the system and gain higher privileges to access further data. Here they find a login page to an HR database and attempt an SQL injection attack. It fails. They find an email from another user that seems to have access to important databases and target him. After dumping the local password cache, the attackers have domain admin credentials. They browse the network to find the machine belonging to the new target. They connect with the remote desktop to drop a backdoor for later use and access the local hard drive, searching them for sensitive data.
We picked up a minor breach on one of our workstations. We've isolated it and made a thorough scan. We found the bot and removed it. Everything's fine now. Probably just some script kiddie stuff.
Listen, through some back doors on it, we have domain admin, which means we have access to the whole network.
We're so close, it's a done deal.
Now it's time for the payoff. Exfiltration. They return to the compromised machine and find their goal. Credentials for a development database. A brute force attack against the server gets them root access and they're free to dump the entire source code for a critical project. All they have to do now is bring it home.
Just like that.
These types of cyber attack are becoming more frequent, costing companies hundreds of thousands of dollars. Traditional security simply can't keep up. Criminals can test their attacks to the point of invisibility and use legitimate, compromised accounts to stay under the radar once inside a network. Effective security should operate on the assumption that breach will happen. Effective security should be your eyes and ears throughout the network, enabling you to detect and contain every aspect of a targeted intrusion. In one recent survey, more than 70% of respondents felt that their own organization's security activities were insufficient to cope with such eventuality. Oh God.
Thank you. This is how organizations are getting compromised, and this is the way cyber criminals work today. Thank you.
I have a very short talk on accelerating the cloud adoption. And we at Cisco are doing a lot of work around this, and I wanted to share two key aspects about cloud adaptation in the industry and relate that back to the government and how to bring about transparency and control within the government systems. And I'm just going to take about 10 minutes to do that, and at the end of my presentation, if time permits, my colleagues will also do a small demonstration on education-enabled development that can happen, and we're going to do a small demonstration on that. Now, cloud is a reality. We heard some speakers before mention about cloud-enabled data centers and so on. And all of us, in some form or the other, just like we use Facebook and some of these other techniques, other social apps, we also bound to use some of these public cloud, applications. And perhaps if I take one example particularly, Dropbox is one example where 98% of their users it's a public cloud, and 98% of the users are on their free service. And there were a lot of data in customer organizations and of personal nature and of confidential nature sort of sits there. So I just want to dwell upon two aspects of cloud adaptations. What are the challenges and how we are helping clients accelerate this. Now these are two words that I want us to just focus on. One is on shadow IT. Now a while ago we heard some open-ended questions around security, around visibility of data and so on. And we believe what's happening is that there is actually a shadow IT which has come up in every organization. And what that means is that there is amount of money being spent on the name of IT, but it's actually not under the control of IT. That money is actually being spent outside the perimeter of IT and is being used for IT purposes. Now about 10 years ago, when we defined an IT budget, right, over 80 to 90% of that was under the control of the IT department, and they knew what they were doing with that money. With the adaptation of technologies like cloud and so on, what is happening is that shift is happening where these budgets are with the business groups, and business groups are spending it and not necessarily with the knowledge and acknowledgement of the IT industry, of the IT departments. So within Cisco, we like to look at this shadow IT from three different aspects. One is, first and foremost, is visibility. Do we know within our organization, do we have a visibility of who is using what within our organization, right? Whether it is the free clouds, whether it is the clouds within the state data centers, applications within the state data centers, whether it is across organizations, within departments, across departments, do we have that visibility? Now, Cisco IT, that is the Cisco CTO office, estimates that over 5x or 10x of IT budgets are typically purchased without the IT services being involved in those purchases. And this trend is going ahead. Gartner predicts that from a cost perspective, right, by 2020, 90% of the spending so-called on IT will be outside of the IT department purview, right? And this is because of the adaptation of some of these technologies, particularly the cloud technology. Now, risk is something that, a while ago, my friend talked about, threats that happen, exposures that happen because of, websites being compromised. He mentioned Sony. There are many, perhaps there are many more examples where we can refer to. We have perhaps seen, all of us, seen presentations on the internet shared on SlideShare, for example, right? And you would find sometimes even sensitive data sits around, gets compromised and gets shared on these public websites. As a matter of fact, I can tell you that within Cisco, we have a set of analysts who are sitting and constantly monitoring these particular, common share sites to look for confidential data and sometimes customer sensitive data that might be, put up by someone, and we take immediate action to sort of get that removed from that from that website. Now, so risk is certainly getting associated, and it is being estimated that, again by Gartner, by 2016, and 2016 is not too far a landscape, right, that over 50% of the data that companies would have, right, would be stored on a public cloud, right? Think about it. This might be a reality already in your organizations, in many government departments that I have had the chance to interact with. It is not uncommon to see, data being shared on public website. I think a while ago, sir mentioned about compromises on passwords, compromises on even second level and third level security in terms of pins. I mean, that's level of data being shared within the organizations and now extending that onto the public cloud as well. So what is it that we can do about this? Now, the way we handle these challenges is that we help customers identify, help create that visibility within the organization. We can help create that visibility of who is using what in that public domain, who is using what within your data center, within your private cloud. We can help create that visibility at a user level, at an application level, so that you have the ability now to identify, right, and perhaps also govern some of these cloud providers that you may have an official relationship with, or it may be a user within your department that has sort of forward gone ahead and made a relationship. The other aspect is around cost. With this kind of decentralization and with this kind of projection on how costs will shift away from the IT department, one thing is for sure is that the organization's ability to centrally purchase a service also sort of gets compromised. Now, in order to be able to take control of that, the first and foremost thing is we need to understand the landscape. We need to understand where is it and who is using what kind of services, how much are they being paid for, and how can we consolidate that. So to bring about that visibility at a cost level is also a service that we can provide that will help our customers like yourself to be able to better control the costs and be able to better if required to have third-party service provider engagements to be able to better manage and negotiate the prices with them. The third aspect, perhaps I don't have to beat on this one, and that is on security, right? How secure is the data, especially the one that goes on cloud, ones that get posted either by desire or by mistake onto public clouds? How secure is that? How much is your data compromised? And once again, here's an opportunity where we can help analyze both within the data center and right down to the desktop level, up to the network level. We can analyze the security of the data and see how much of that is compromised. Get you a full comprehensive report of data within your organization. And that information, these three combined information, we believe can be used to establish a governance model. And if I go back to the questions that were being posed, I think the overall question that was being posed is, do we have a strong enough governance in the way we use IT, right? In the way we are consuming IT, if you will, right? And this is important not only from those questions point of view. I also heard in this on this forum about future projects, right? Projects that are now going from pilot phase to phase 1 and phase 2. That means more and more dependency on IT, and therefore more and more need to get into the aspect of a governance model around how IT gets consumed, right? And we believe we can offer a matured governance model around this. And we begin this in 4 stages in any organization, whether it is local within the data center, or it is across multiple data centers, or it could be between your local private data center and a public cloud service provider. And this goes into 4 stages. From an ad hoc cloud users, we get you an analysis of your complete profile of your organization, how that happens. We get you visibility of the cloud usage within your organization, right? Right down to the user level. We could break it down to an application level to see how those applications are happening on the cloud. And we could also then do a cost and risk mitigation analysis based on that data to help you better optimize your cost within the organization, be able to drive more with the limited budgets that IT gets. And finally, and most important at the end of this, is you get a completely optimized IT governance model where the IT and the line of business are sort of aligned as far as the cloud deployments are concerned. So this is one factor that I wanted to leave as a thought, considering the open questions that were asked and also considering some of the future projects that were being talked about, that we think we are today ready to help customers do that, and we're doing that for many customers with this particular model. The other thing that I want to touch upon is something new. Something rather new, and that's called intercloud. We call it intercloud. Now, what's intercloud? Now, intercloud is fundamentally about workload mobility, right? Some people like to call it as workload portability, right? Because in today's world, it's all about workload, right? And you have your data center or private cloud where you sort of have fixed workloads, right? And you can do a better control and compliance over them because that's your fixed environment, right? And then you have the public clouds where you sort of put elastic workloads that keep on varying, right? And where the key objective is to quickly ramp up your services and make those services available. But we think what's a reality today is the need for a hybrid cloud. And this hybrid cloud is one that supports mobility between a data center and a service provider, right? And that could be a contracted service provider, right? So between your private data center and a service provider, or within a private data center and let's say a centralized data center for the government, that could be, for instance, established at an IC central office, right? So the ability to be able to move workload across them, the ability to be able to port your applications from one cloud to another without having to reconfigure the whole setup, without having to re-engineer the whole database and so on, is one of the activities that we believe we want to achieve out of this. So what do customers need when they look at workload portability? So when we looked at customers who were looking at workload portability between private and public clouds, or sort of a hybrid cloud, if you will, right? So first and foremost thing that what came up was it should be an open solution, right? Should be based on open standards, right? And should be able to interoperate between, there should be no vendor lock-in, and I should have the ability to choose between multiple service providers and multiple platforms for the cloud if required, and move workload across these platforms. Second most of course is the security, right? And this is the security at a connection level, security at a data level, right? Multi-tenancy is a word that you would hear very often in cloud environments, right? How do you ensure application security in a multi-tenant environment? And then right down to the wire, the network wire, can my data go on a secure network, right? That's an important aspect of this. And then application transparency. From a workload mobility point of view, it's about application transparency. Today I may be on a one cloud or virtualization platform. Should I want to move my workload from that to another one, I should be able to do that transparently. And the good news is that all of this is possible, and this is possible through the intercloud application. Now, today's clouds are, in a way, you could call them proprietary, you could call them custom-based, or you could call them custom designed, right? And therefore, if you look at them, they sort of have a lock-in mechanism. That means you could only go to that particular vendor and take the services and continue to remain with that service provider and have no choice. Or if you have chosen a platform within your data center, you are bound to remain on that platform. Now, with this intercloud, what we are ensuring is that you have a more choice of service providers that you can sort of pick on. What you can also do is you can also ensure that you do not have any lock-in as far as hypervisor and virtualization is concerned. And we also do end-to-end security on this. So here's an example. From a private data center cloud, right, with the intercloud in place, we can deploy that service, that same application on a public cloud itself. And you can then vary and choose which service provider you want for this activity. Some use cases for this, we have test and development as one use case that you could look at within your organization, right? You can look at shadow IT control for this. You can use this for capacity augmentation. You are going from pilot to phase 1 and phase 2. For capacity augmentation, this can be an option. And for disaster recovery, of course, where you want to build a disaster recovery facility, this could be another way to expand on to disaster recovery for the organization. So with that, thank you very much. And you want to come in?
Just, sure. I'm a part of Cisco. My name is Ajay Krishna. I work in a group called Inclusive Growth. Since we have very limited time, I'll just take 30 seconds of your time. We just want to show you a very brief video of what is happening, how we are using technology to change the lives of people, right? We are doing today in Inclusive Growth, we are taking technology to the rural parts of the country on issues that impact us as citizens the most: education, skills development, and healthcare. So here is a class that is happening by a training partner called GTD. They are based out of Pune. These are classes happening at various ITIs in Kerala. So out of the 72 ITIs in Kerala, 34 of them have already been connected. Between the classrooms where students are being taught and youth are being skilled, more than 7 lakh student hours of teaching and training have been accomplished. So we just wanted to show you a live class that is happening right now. I think that's all the time I have, but I'll be happy to explain. We are across about 9 to 10 states in the country. In this very state of Bihar, we have been doing nurses training across 10 nursing schools and colleges, where instructors from Patna and Calcutta, from the state nodal centers, are teaching these pre-service students nursing. One very remarkable result that is achieved, places where there was very low pass percentage has gone up to 72%. And that training is being done by Johns Hopkins. They have got an NGO in Bihar or all over India called Japaigo, which does the training. Like this, we can bring in multiple partners and take technology to the rural parts of the country and make a difference where it's really required. Thank you.
Good morning to all the dignitaries on the dais, and good morning to all the esteemed audience. It is about to be noon now. So I will start with a word from Steve Jobs that I don't need a hard disk in my computer if I can get to the server faster. So yes, cloud makes us faster, but with faster there needs to be control over it. Many of you will be driving the car. I think most of the people knows how to drive a car and they drive. But and if faster you reach destination, it is good. But there should be some control over it. So that is very much required. And thanks for the panelists that already they have provided set the stage for the security, which I will be talking about. Sir has given more thoughts on the what all is required when we are adopting any technology with respect to the security. And we have seen that Manas showed that how fast we are going in technology and how far the data is there in the internet. AOL took 9 years, and this Facebook took 9 months, and then Drop took only 9 days. So this is the amount of data we are having, and we are also having the largest database around the world as UIDI. So we have lot many data in the data center which needs to be secured. So I will basically talk about cloud, the benefits of cloud, the issues and challenges. and the solutions. And I will keep it crisp because we have not much time left. So as we move from governance to e-governance, we have good in it, and we have the options of good analytics. We have more efficiency in place, and the visibility got higher. And similar to when we moved towards the cloud from the single purpose physical systems, and then we adopted the virtualization technology, and then moved to the cloud. But as cloud came, there are some concerns also. I will share with you in the coming slides. So there are many benefits for which we need to have cloud in place. As Secretary said that we have to look for new technologies and we have to adopt them if we want to move ahead, or we remain ahead around the technology world. So cloud gives many benefits, like we have agility, scalability, flexibility with the help of cloud. We are faster to market, users-based costing, cost-effective. So there are multiple benefits, many benefits for which cloud has to be used. But with these benefits, there are some concerns, there are some issues, there are challenges which needs to be tackled and have to be overcome while moving towards cloud. So some of the gaps which are there are because in cloud we were working in a virtual machine environment. So virtual machines are easy to copy, easy to move, and there are lots of snapshots and backups of the data which are around the data center in different virtual storage. So that needs to be secured. And with the cloud, there are multiple administrators for different things, like server administrator, storage administrator, backup administrator. So you need to control those administrators. So that is why these gaps has to be filled in.
Can we have a huge round of applause? So the IT Minister, Shri Sailesh, it's a matter of great pride for us that Sir is here on the second day also.
So, moving to cloud is important, but until unless we have trust and confidence in some technology, we cannot get ahead. Similar, just give a small example. हम लोग बैंक में पैसा रखते हैं because we feel that वहाँ पे हमारा पैसा secure है. वहाँ पे ये नहीं कि हमारा पैसा एक दूसरे के साथ पैसा मिल गया हो, co-mingling हो गया हो. There are multiple things. So because we trust banks, that's why we place our money there. Similarly, cloud is also a bank, data bank, which we and with all other functionalities, where you are providing your data to the other cloud service provider. So in government, yes, it is a private cloud, and government is will be holding your data, but still the concerns are there. So two kinds of concerns are technology concerns and control concerns. Both are important, like data location concern, where your data is, data segregation, how you will segregate the data. Then there are distributed storage, identity federation, and there are control concerns which are very much important, legal concerns, compliance concerns, audits, visibility. There are multiple concerns. And SLA, availability is very much important if we are moving towards cloud. Or any kind of internet applications, availability is the one which is most important. If availability will not be there, everything will go down. So, and that is why security top list of cloud challenges, because security is utmost with respect to the virtualized environment or the cloud environment. So, few of the challenges with respect to data governance, data compliance, and data protection. We should ask that, do I know where all my data instances are? These are the few questions which are, I'm adding the list of questions which are asked over it. So do I know where all my data instances are? Can I trace every legitimate replication copy? There are multiple replication copies might be there in data center. Can I trace unauthorized copying of my data? because VMs are files and it can be copied very easily. So that is why it is important to have a look over it. Then data compliance, lack of data control. Who is accessing my data? Can I enforce an effective access control policy? That is only the authorized person can only have access to the data. Can I present a trusted audit trail, which is very much required if you want to find the loopholes. So logs and audits are very much required. Then the data protection, risk of breach and data loss. All my data instances secure. Can I assure only authorized access to my data? And can I pull the plug on data that I feel that is at risk? So those are the three you can say verticals in which these concerns are there, and we need to overcome these challenges. So when you are moving to the cloud, how do you maintain ownership and control of your data in multi-tenant environment? How do you extend data governance and compliance to internal and external mandates? So everything is around data. Anybody wants to access to your data center or cloud service provider data center, it is for data. And data needs to be secure. That is, data confidentiality, integrity, non-reputation and authenticity should be secured. Encryption is the fundamental technology for realizing cloud security. And we have been seeing this encryption technology in multiple standards and acts like ISO 27001, IT Act, etc. IT Act also talk about such thing. So I'm running through because of the rest of time. If somebody wants to have more interaction, I am available here for a whole day. So encryption enables in all the three verticals. With that, we know about every access event, location agnostic, you can encrypt the data and it can be anywhere, non-repudiation, set effective access policies, separation of duties, data shredding, prevent leaks or unauthorized access, data isolation and spot resistance. So all these three things can be covered using encryption. So whenever we are moving towards cloud, so these can be the multiple security goals. How to control access to infrastructure, achieving compliant isolation and separation of duties, maintaining trust and control in virtual storage volumes, securing virtualized and cloud applications, and securing communication. And there are cloud security solutions which can help in these achieving these goals, like secure access control via multi-factor authentication, securing virtual machines. We can encrypt the virtual machines and the storage, and we have pre-boot authentication over it. And also whenever we are encrypting, there should be a hardware-based encryption. That is, the keys which are important needs to be there in the hardware. ताला लगाने के बाद चाबी घर के पास नहीं रखना है, अलग रखना है. So that is the major thing when you are doing the encryption stuff. Then secure applications, secure communications. So I can discuss about solutions, but I have no time for it now. So these are the solutions. And lastly, Amazon is the world's largest cloud service provider, and they also keep security at the top. Whenever means the core as a core objective, and they had already incorporated some security as a service thing, cloud HSM, etc. So lastly, as everybody said that we should not wait for having the breach happen. We should secure prior to the breach. We should have things in place for securing the breach. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Shri Anubhav Tyagi talked about some of the opportunities and challenges with respect to cloud. And now I would like to call upon Shri Shailesh Shrivastava ji, Technical Director, NIC Bihar.
Good morning, everybody. Time is late. I will try my best. I'll give you the government perspective. In case we are moving our e-governance applications into cloud, I think recently you may have heard that Government of India has launched the GI cloud, we call it as a main branch. And what are the issues that will arise being in government, what exactly those things we have to do, that we will just talk on that. As you know that in any GP, our main focus is that e-governance services should reach to the masses. And this brings a major challenge that we need to have multi-channel delivery system to be built in through mobile phones, through internet or various medium. And moving to the cloud, naturally the private players have their own views, but being in government, we do have a lot of concerns about that. These concerns are basically relates to our IPR, it relates to the security, it relates to the software licensing. Recently I wrote 2 research papers which I have published in IEEE journal in USA. During my analysis I found that still there is no common standards available for cloud. So once you enter into the cloud business, there you will find that there is a lot of proprietary softwares and proprietary solutions available. And again, the question of lock-in of vendors, then migrating from one cloud to another cloud is again going to be a tough challenge for us. So what are the concerns basically we have? We will be just talking to that. As you see that there are various channels available, using the channels we need to deliver the services to the citizens. No doubt, cloud provides a lot of benefits. We pay per use, we have on-demand services, we don't need to maintain our hardware, the softwares will be upgraded automatically. But once we go into the business, we also need to understand what are the problems that we will face later on. This is the current cloud scenario. Generally you will have that. Generally the GI cloud also talks that both the state government and the central government should have both kinds of cloud. A private cloud which will be managed by private players, and there will be a government cloud which will be managed by the government entity. Because there are a lot of issues. Let us say if I implement a e-hospital application and entire details of my citizen is available and on that, and if that goes, as you see that a lot of hacking happens, then what will be our role there? So there should be some government entity to manage these critical databases, and then there will be services, front-end services which can be delivered through the private cloud. I think we'll skip that. As I was talking that there are a lot of confidential data related to home, income tax, judiciary, we have to have policies on that how exactly we are moving to the cloud. Second one, as we understand that there are a lot of attacks on the networks, and we have already Right to Service Act in place. That we need to deliver the service within time frame, and if there is any problem in the network, how exactly those things are going to be part of that has to be seen. As we understand, cloud brings data from multiple organizations at one place. What will be the role of individuals? I think we will see the concerns, what exactly we have the concerns. Yeah. Who will decide who will be the administrator and has the privileged access to the data? This is the major concern, that if everything comes at one place, who is going to be the owner of the data? In case there is loss, how we are going to recover that data? Security issues, a lot of security issues have been covered in this. Similarly, authentication, how exactly authentication mechanism is going to work. This is the GI cloud which I am talking, Government of India with NIC, it has established recently, where it talks that most of our service delivery gateway will be through our internal, you can see the GI cloud services directory. This will be managed by the government entity, and then there is a dedicated government cloud which will be managed by the private entity. So we have both entities working together, and they will be delivering services on that. These are the basic challenges which we will face. security, interoperability. A lot of people has come and told that we have developed lots of applications, lots of data we have. These data does not talk with each other. Interoperability is one of the issues that need to be addressed. Databases need to talk. If banks need to verify informations, or let us have different kind of databases if we need to have some analytics being done on that data. These databases need to talk. So we are talking that how we are going to converge all our legacy applications into this. Then how we are going to ensure the availability of the infrastructure or availability of systems, because we have RTPS available as a service delivery mechanism. Even procurements also has to be formulated in such a way that now we should orient it for it should not be procurement oriented, rather than it should be hiring oriented, so that we more hire the services rather than establish the services. I was talking about cloud standards. There is no such, but proprietary, customized, all these things are available. We have to choose one of them which suits us. There is no open standards still available in the industry. And once we go to the cloud, all these open standards, locking of the vendors, all these issues has to be checked into. Even application development has to be changed. Earlier we were just a single server oriented architecture we were working, and we were developing application. Now we need to change our application architecture that it works in the cloud application architecture. We have to integrate our legacy application, because we cannot go on redeveloping the entire application. Licensing is one of the issues that we have to see, that how exactly, earlier we had per computer licenses, per user license. Here there is no such, it's a virtualized environment, and how those licensing issues are going to be handled. Handling those licensing itself requires a huge software management, and all those issues need to be addressed. Again, location of data is also very important. Because if you go on cloud, the data will be available somewhere else. If fraud happens, which country that rules will apply. So all those issues need to be addressed on this. We were talking about vendor lock-in. I think we'll escape. Change management is, the mindset also has to change. People's mindset that, okay, when we go into the cloud, these are the problems and these are the benefits. We need to understand those things. That is also necessary. I think these are the components which GI Cloud will have. Cloud computing platform will be there, a common platform for hosting and running application, which we call it as a eBihar App Store. There will be a service directory. Some of the conclusions which we have drawn, as I was listening others, there are certain issues. We must go for computerization or processes. BPR must precede the computerization. So the processes need to be redefined. Adoption of cloud technology has to be need to be improved within the organization. There are security threats available, due to which cloud is not picking up so much in many of the countries. And there should be faith in the service provider as well as the service getter, so that we are having a complete understanding between them. Before I end, 2-3, since our senior officers are there, some of my points basically are pertaining to this conference. I thought that I will share with you. Today I am proposing with this conference that every department must have a citizen charter for digital service delivery. What I am talking that voluntarily there should be a mechanism in which departments tell that these are the services digitally we will make available to the departments. So this is the first thing. It's not just citizen charter, but it should be a digital delivery citizen charter that should have. Second one, we are talking that digital records maintenance, there should be a policy which state government should have. I was talking about this thing. All the affidavits in the government services should be abolished. A state should adopt to the open data policy, and we must establish an open technology lab so that there is an openness environment created in the applications. We are also talking of a state government owned or a state government app store in which applications developed are easily, transparently shared among departments. So there should be a data and application exchange policy between departments. For major projects, many cases what we find that at the end of some time we will find that there is a lot of technical snag, or there are a lot of issues which individual departments are not able to handle. So we propose that there should be a project technical evaluation committee for large ICT projects in which industry people also can be participating and which adheres to the e-governance standards in the state. We need to have a second administrative reforms kind of thing. So process reengineering group for restructuring processes in form of administrative reforms the state must take up. And there should be a unified database of citizens in which most of the cases what is happening there, a citizen, just now somebody was talking about that, so a citizen has to go to different departments to take certificate from one and submit to another, or may have to resubmit to the department again and again. So can we have a digital database of the citizen where a identified source of documents are posted by the citizen as per desire, and that can be made available to the different departments so that they are able to verify those documents online. So these are some suggestions I have. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Through his presentation, sir talked about cloud scenario for e-governance projects, security issues of e-gov application in terms of cloud, concerns of cloud computing security, and many other things related to cloud and e-governance. And now I would like to call upon Shri Sundarajan ji, Director Sales Public Sector from SAS. Can we have a huge round of applause, sir?
And ladies and gentlemen, I will make it really short here. What we're talking about is the big data initiative. We talked about. It's been talked about. Shrivastava also mentioned just now a need for creating a complete database, a single view of the customer, and that's what we're talking about. Before that, I just wanted to explain to you what is big data really. I mean, everybody keeps talking about big data. Big data is nothing different than, let's say, big money. For me, big money can be 1 crore. For a poor man, 1 lakh can be big money. And for a very large businessman, 100 crores may be big money. So it is similar in big data. So there is no big data as a definition saying if you exceed 1 terabyte or 5 terabytes, 100 terabytes is big data. It is essentially depending on those 3 major ones, which is volume, variety, and velocity. So the speed at which we are receiving data, the variety of data, whether it is digital, whether it is animation, whatever other form, and of course the volume of the data. And if you see what's happening, slowly there is an information overload happening. And we, in the first presentation, he covered the kind of information that's coming into the net every day, and it is not possible at all for us to actually keep control of the amount of data that we are receiving. So what we need to look at the fourth V, which is value. So the ability to actually look for something in the data is where the need for analytics and big data comes in, because there's so much of data which is irrelevant to us. How do we go and identify that part which gives us the value, and which is what the center of the presentation is about. This is the vision of the MD Beltran that he shared yesterday, saying that there is data coming in from every different source about the citizen. And you're coming from, there's data for Nariga, there is data for E-Shakti, there is driving license data, there is land records, and everything pertains to individual. And if you see most of the social programs that are being implemented by the government, while it is announced in total, the benefit should go to an individual, and the individual should be identifiable. And what happens, like I think many people talked about need for affidavits need to go, and we should be able to, the government should have one single data that looks at the citizen from all angles and should be able to identify whether he is actually in receipt of the social service that we are trying to provide to him, and vice versa, that the person, the citizen, every citizen anywhere should be able to receive information and benefits that is due to him without having to go through all this rigmarole that we are currently going. And that's a big challenge. And in a state like Bihar, which has got a population of 10 crores plus, I mean, which is actually bigger than the population of Germany, so it's like, the 17th or 18th largest country in the world, it is that much more complex. And there are several things that I've listed. And I would just take a small snapshot as to what is the complexity involved. For example, take me as I put Sridhar and Vikram as an example, but take me as an example. My passport name is Sundar Swaminathan Iyer. My PAN is Sundar S. Iyer. My driving license is Sundar Iyer. And they are all different. And there are other documents which is S. Iyer. How does the government know all these are one single man, which is Sundar Iyer? And that's where analytics comes in, helps you saying, in all these different data that are coming in, the person is just one. And that's a challenge in front of us. Sorry. So if you look at this data, this is actually a real life data. A single person, Abhijit K. Singh, rather Abhijit Kumar Singh, UID, municipal, driving license, LPG, others, they're all in different formats. The address is different, the name is different, the date of birth is different, in a different format. How do you say all this belongs to one Abhijit K. Singh? And that's where SAS comes in terms of solving this problem. And we do that and create a single data which is using the MDM technology. And of course, I don't want to go into the return on investment, the repeatedly government spending money to identify a beneficiary is so large. For example, to issue a UID card, the government spends close to 140 rupees. Now, take that example. So that happens, then the census person goes and collects another set of data. The LPG goes per person, everybody keeps, and every data collection means you're talking about hundreds of rupees being spent for every one of the schemes. If you have a single data, which is the vision of Bihar, I think this will be a great success. Of course, I don't want to get into selling SaaS here. Again, there are a lot of people who already talked about the cloud, and this is what we are coming to actually. What is the difference between business intelligence and analytics? It's essentially saying, if you ask the right question, you get the right answer in business intelligence. Analytics is where you don't ask a question, the system actually using statistical tools tells you that this is the answer that you're looking for. And that's a fundamental difference between analytics and business intelligence. And we already covered that. This is exactly what we want to do. This is, as I said, MD Beltran yesterday talked about this vision of having this single database. And Mr. N.K. Sinha said today morning that 20 crores already sanctioned, and they are going to create a central database. And this is what it will look like. Every citizen can be looked at from every angle, and you can issue certificates and things like that to him with the photo so that he can be uniquely identified, and the benefit of whatever social work that we are doing actually goes to the end recipient. And that is where you get a real good return on investment. That's all I have. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. We are now open for questions. Sir, if you allow, can I have one question from my side? In this session of emerging technologies, we talk about big data analytics, networking, cloud computing, and security. There are many other emerging technologies like LBS, Internet of Things, NFC, and WiSig. But I will not talk about any emerging technologies now. I will talk about a technical trend which has come up and which is booming in some of the developed nations, which is BYOD. Bring your own device. There are companies that are fighting for office spaces in India. Many organizations have made work from home mandatory for their employees. There is chaos on the roads during the peak office hours. There is a huge chunk of population getting ready to migrate to some of the developed cities. In all this, where do you see the role of BYOD in India? If any of the panelists can answer this, can give some brief about this new trend.
Hi. I think BYOD is pretty much a reality in most organizations. I can share from a personal experience, my mobile phone as an example is a device which is registered with my company, and I think companies are finding that it is more efficient to use some of those and they have to buy lesser kind of equipment. Yes, there is some work that organizations need to do in terms of security, in terms of certain policies and programs that need to be installed on those devices. And I think that is pretty much an area which is, while it is growing and it is posing new challenges, but I think at the same time it is something that from our point of view I think is pretty much a reality and brings a lot of efficiency within organization and perhaps convenience to the end user also. It doesn't have to flip between two interfaces, two kinds of devices and so on, right? Anyway.
Hello. Just I want to touch upon that this is the subject BIOD and another terminology has come up, the CYOD, choose your own devices. It is not only bring your own devices, choose your own devices. Sir rightly mentioned that the reality, how many of you actually accessing your mail from your mobile phone, from your iPad, from your desktop or laptop in the office? One application accessed from different devices. It is known as device hopping. That it gives agility to the organization, it gives accessibility to the data, and some people, let's say, if I'm traveling, my guys are requested for a travel request, I have to approve his travel request. I am not accessing my laptop now, I have to do it from my mobile devices. And if it gives the agility that that guy should reach there and it should not be staffed for my approval, then I can do it from my devices, which probably is my iPad. Most of the time, you will see one person from the organization is sending mail and the signature is sent from my iPad. Sometimes you will find that sent from my Samsung mobile. Sometimes you will find that the official signature is coming up, that this one mail is coming up. But what brings this, BIOD is a reality, but it brings a lot of security challenges. It's rightly said that people are encouraging to work from home, right? And when people are working from home, then they are hopping their devices. At the same time, we should consider now that when it's BIOD, people are talking about containerization. If it is, this is my device, and I'm accessing corporate information from the device, and if I leave the organization, what happens to the data I'm having in my handheld, right? In my mobile phone, and it belongs to me, and I don't want my organization to wipe out my whole information from the infrastructure. But then some questions are coming up. It is something is security, another is the manageability. Two things is very important. One is mobile management, MDM, the technology people are talking about how to manage the end devices are used by the organization. Another is security of the devices. That's the two important points we need to take
So my question is to RD Secretary Meena sir, that we have just now discussed a lot of facets of big data analytics. how it can correlate citizens across databases, different databases. Even within a database, how can it help in producing certain significant results, that how many people are having car and still engaged, still enrolled into Indira Awas Yojana or something of that kind. Even deduplication of records can be done. In eShakti we do deduplication through biometric, but in SECC there is a huge amount of record is there, and within that also there could be chances of deduplication on wrong information. So you being the custodian of probably largest repository of data of government of Bihar, how do you think that big data analytics can help working of your department, analytics of your department, and improving efficiency of your department?
Certainly there is absolutely no doubt that it will be very, very useful, because in every program, whether it is the census operation or selection of beneficiary for IMI or issuance of the job card, or now SECC operation, eShakti, now we will be going for UID. Every time we spend lot of resources in collecting the data, and if this kind of merging is possible, then accuracy and also the possibility of removing the ineligible kind of the beneficiary from various programs would be very much there. So we should try and pilot test this application in some of our areas, in some of the programs. I am visualizing it to be very, very useful. It will help tremendously in terms of properly targeting the beneficiaries, reducing the cost of management of the program.
Thank you, sir, and that is why I am trying to reflect this question to SAS, Mr. Sham, that because this is a precisely new technology, especially for India, and not in many states for citizen services we have utilized this, or for analyzing this kind of citizen data. You have been probably producing some business intelligence for some specific commercial taxes data or something somewhere you have been doing. But now applying big data analytics in citizen services delivery, and also the departments, helping departments like rural development. Are you, as a major company on the globe, pioneering the big data analytics cause, are willing to take up kind of pilot projects in Patna or Bihar?
Absolutely, sir. We are doing this work already in Maharashtra through Maha Online. We have already started the work. The PDS data cleaning is happening. They have already identified a fair amount of duplicates in the PDS data. And we just got the order last month from NPR, the National Population Register. They've just given us a very large order to actually dedupe their records, because they gave us a sample and we found a lot of duplicates, and they're going to use that in the census data also. So the software that we are talking about here in the data quality area has it's a self-learning tool. So when it keeps doing, so we did that deduplication for telecom companies, because the government passed an order that no single individual should have more than 8 telephone connections. So we did that to identify how many telephone connections in a particular person's name are there. So uniquely identifying a person within data, we have already done that for several companies, all the telecom companies, Airtel, Vodafone. So the data is already learned about at least the citizens who bought mobile phones from this telecom company. So once we do through NPR, it will actually have covered the entire population. So we have a fairly sophisticated tool to actually identify the individuals in a population.
My question was, are you willing to do
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. We are more than willing to do that in Bihar. Absolutely, we'll be very happy.
Right.
Sir, at first I would like to thank our Principal Secretary and Shri Sinha for conducting such a nice program, so that what was a dream earlier days, but this is a real true thing that we have assembled here. I have come here from Delhi. Sir, just I was going through your words very minutely, and I could find that you are really you were really touching the basic needs what we require in Bihar. Sir, one thing I would like to, sir, I would like to ask you. So wherever I go as a national project coordinator, recently I had been at JK, recently I had been at US also, and in Hyderabad, sir, I do find, sir, most of the core project what we do, that the project coding is done from the people of Bihar. Wherever I have gone, I could find that the core coding was being done by the people of Bihar. And that too from, sir, rural areas of Bihar. Because some people were from Motihari, from Purnia, from Kishanganj, from, sir, Ara, like that. Everywhere, even USA, I could find they were from those areas. But, sir, whenever in Delhi, we just meet such a forum, I am very surprised that most of the people have very less idea about the development in IT in Bihar. Because they are still not thinking that we are developing. Everywhere I do find, sir, we are doing a lot of things, but we are not able to project it very in a big way that we are also doing it. Just in that forum I had told them, it was the Bihar which was the one of the first states in India that went for the computation of transport department. Sir, it was the High Court of Patna that was the one of the first High Court in India that was computerized fully. So I just told them, sir, in a big forum like that, we should have some centers like in, sir, on Assam, sir, we find that it is a citizen-centric service is okay. But, sir, awareness program with the partnership of the private firm also, we can have established centers, sir, at rural areas, so that, sir, people, when we talk about, sir, rural development and Panchayati Raj, it is, sir, very much that they should be well aware of the programs. Because most of the Mukhias are not knowing, most of the, sir, Jilla Panchayat people are not knowing exactly the program of the Bihar government. But, sir, wherever you go, they talk about the Bihar. They are talking about the Chief Minister's achievement a lot. Recently, sir, I have Indore. It was an example of our Chief Minister. Yesterday, I was also there. They were just lauding the achievement of the Chief Minister. But that was a big forum. They were knowing about the achievement. But, sir, I would like to know, can we have established the centers in the rural areas so that we can produce more beneficial achievement for the Bihar? Thank you, sir.
I think whatever you have suggested is very well taken, and the way forward would be, since intellect is not confined only to urban areas, it is scattered all across, and with the communication technology and with the devices and the kind of women empowerment that we tried to showcase through an experiment yesterday, when this spreads to the rural masses, we definitely need to sensitize people, educate them at Panchayat level and say, these are the possibilities for you. You can create your own intellectual properties sitting at your own house in some remote village and you are connected to the world. That transformation may happen very soon in Bihar through the ladies who were illiterate but digitally literate. When they take these devices and connectivity that we are providing and their children force them to not only learn, they themselves learn, the entire household becomes digitally literate. But will they stop there? No. After first round they will say, I need more. That is what has been propelling us also. So then it will be high time for us to set up those centers, tell them what they can achieve, propel them, provide them with the basic amount of knowledge which is needed to go to that kind of coding or even to imagination. They should know that if they can imagine something, yes, there is a way to creating that system. And the system from A to Z need not be done by one person. It's more of a collaborative effort. So we intend to do that, what you have said. And the second part which you said, people do not know about what all we have been doing. Well, people will come to know when they find that entire household in Bihar, whether urban or rural, is not only digitally literate, it is able to create its own IPRs and better the lives of people. So, in my humble opinion, maybe 5 years' time, the entire scenario would have been transformed and Bihar would have shown the way. Thank you, sir.
Due to the paucity of time, I'm sorry that we won't be able to take any more questions. Thank you so much all the panelists, all the dignitaries on the dais. I would now request Shri Atul Sinha ji, MD Beltron, to felicitate all the dignitaries on the dais. Starting with Shri NK Sinha ji. Can we have a huge round of applause? To Shri Amrit Meena ji. To Shri Shailesh Shrivastava ji. To Shri Vijendra Singh ji. Now to Shri Manas Sarkar ji from Trendmicro. Shri Anubhav Tyagi ji from Safenet. Shri Ravi Khattar ji from Cisco. To Shri Sundar Rajan ji from SAS. Thank you so much all the dignitaries. We won't be able to take the tea break now as we have extended the time, and we'll quickly start with the next session now. There is a running tea which is arranged at the backside of the hall, so whosoever wish to have tea and snacks can quickly go and have it. By the time we are starting the next session,